Yeah, I'm usually doing the videos concerning about YouTube. The Regency Rosamundi, California. Yeah, just the vest I'll be wearing for my birthday week. You see the junk I've got behind me of stuff I've been collecting throughout the COVID nightmare. I'm on Elm Street. Mostly to try to celebrate a birthday. There's been a couple of Disney pins I've been wearing. Trying to, if I can get the angle on this damn thing right. To celebrate just happy birthday. Yeah. I'm turning 55. And the rest of the junk I got on here. It's a strange feeling turning 55. I haven't made a proper video concerning about it. Let's put this over here. I'm more relaxed that way. I haven't made a video concerning about the age of 55 and over. Oh, never. First time you actually turn 55. And the thing of it is, help. Pause. Well, I'm hoping you'll be able to hear me a hell of a lot better than just leaning towards the phone at this point. Some people usually try not to make a big deal about their birthday, and other people would go crazy about it. I figure the older you get regarding your birthday, the more sanguine about it, the more jaundice, or just blasé about it, or even careless about the damn thing. You're just trying to get older and trying to survive through life and live things the way you think you should. Or you can, as much as you can. And others are just counting the days. Just counting the days go by. I guess maybe I fall into the latter one. With everything been happening to me over the past God knows how many decades. It may be it has put me into that kind of mode more and more for the latter half. And I don't look forward to the future like I used to when I was a lot younger. When you're growing up and a kid, you're looking at your birthdays like, oh wow, you're jumping up in the storm like crazy. I'm this age, I'm that age, I'm this age, I'm that age. So my question to myself is, when the hell did it change? When did it change? When I turned 20? When I turned 30? When I turned 40? When I turned 50? When did it change? And I'm still doing some self-reflection on this one. Just to figure it out why. And how come and stuff. And to tell you the truth, I honestly don't have a clue. I don't. You get the gimcracks, the tchotchkes, the whatchamacallits, the gizmos, the gadgets, the widgets, the watches, the Watusies, the Tusi Watsies, whatever the hell it is. You get your pen vest with the pins on the damn thing to proudly present them all over the place, and then you feel like you're a damn fool. I chuckle at that one. I chuckle at that because, damn, it's me. Long while I did that, growing up as a kid. Yeah. Younger adult. When I got used to pins on a vest and showing them off left to right, and then you get a little older and you start feeling more egocentric. Megalomania. You had to keep showing what kind of a big turd you were. That's what I was doing when I was a lot younger, about a couple of decades ago. Just to show you what kind of a bigger ego I had over yours. And my ego had topped yours any day. Because I was me and you weren't. My birthday is coming up and you shall celebrate it. And you have no choice over it. I reflect on these things constantly sometimes. Yeah, contradiction of terms, isn't it? Constantly and sometimes. Is it one or is it the other? Depending on which side of the personality you are talking to. Over the past couple of years, I've been doing more and more self-reflections, more and more journals, audio and video. I'm going to be killing YouTube's limit on how many videos I can post. I'm investing in companies concerning about flash drives and SD drives. Those SD cards to store the journals on. All of it to save something of myself for something of future generations. In my family line, I was told one person to another person to another person, and maybe a few other people in the line would argue about it. Practically say, no, this didn't happen, no, that didn't happen. Well, my brother had talked to a lot of people in the family line in the Cameron clan when he was still alive and still young and still kicking. And stories he heard had sex, excuse me, one quick second. Gets disgusting here. One must wet the whistle. Get the throat lubricated so I'll start choking all over the damn place. He had talked to the male relatives before they passed. And they had told him something that scared the living crap out of him. Then on his own side of the Shaw family, he told him something else. I suppose at this point my brother's still a little peeved at his family line in heaven at this point over here, both the Cameron and the Shaw line, for the misinformation. The Cameron line went along like this. If the males were getting to 60, or a little past 60, they started dying off. We lost an uncle. A little older than that, so I could have thrown the damn thing off. I think he misunderstood it. Maybe it was about 60s or 70s, or maybe 80s. I mean, we did have various ages of our male uncles that passed away later on in life. But I was told that once they reached the past age of 60, that's when they started dying off left and right. And when my brother was approaching the 50th, the day before, he was panicking like crazy. And because of this, he wasn't able to deal with it because he was afraid. He's got 10 more years to live. He talked to some of his relatives on the Shaw line. And they said, no, they'll live longer. 80s or 90s. Well, in his late 70s, his own father passed away due to an accident. Slip and fall, cracked his skull, hemorrhage, coma. 2015 was when my brother's father died. Same being we had to get evicted out of trailer homes in Rosamond. And at this point, I learned about it. I'm thinking, well, great. Maybe my brother's going to be living that long. After his birthday, my brother's birthday in May, late May, that's when all the health conditions started acting up big time. So he had a stroke, and it affected him almost in a rush state. Almost. I know, it's a contradiction of terms again. Like oxymoron terminology here. It took about 2 to 3 months to really show what damage my brother had. Mobility, speech, basically speech pissed him off more than the mobility did. Because he wasn't able to communicate other than 3 words, and he wanted to say more than that. He loved saying more than 3 words. Anybody remember my brother, David Shaw? You remember what kind of a talker he was. And it upset him. He had already been working with Kaiser to set things up for therapy, to help him say more than 3 or 4 words. Thing is, they couldn't come to him. He had to go to them, despite his mobility issues. That was pretty stupid. But I mean, also because we're in a different county altogether. If it was Los Angeles County, it's one thing, but it wasn't. It's Kern County, so it's a different thing altogether. And I had to help him. It was very difficult helping him out left and right. But I did the best I could. But he died. He died in September. A few months after his birthday in May. Scares the hell out of me because he was told that only the Shaw line would do that. Well, unfortunately, his condition said otherwise. So I am of the Cameron line, and at this point, I should be terrified about the damn thing, and I'm not. But it makes me more sad. I may or may not have that much more time myself, my own biological clock. I'm going to be turning 55 this Saturday. And if I followed the damn fallacy like crazy, if I had set my own brain up, I'll be thinking that I'll be dying by the time I reach 60 or maybe a little bit afterwards. My mother was of the Cameron line, but she was the female. It was only the males that was purported to die after 60. Not prior. So, I don't know what to expect in the future. I'm only saying this because, yeah, I'm concerned about it. I'm not panicking about it, even though it may be misconstrued as panic at this point over here. It's not like I'm saying that 60 is coming up and I'm going to die. It's next 5 years I'm going to be putting that theory to a test, apparently. Still by living, still by existing, and not stressing or worrying about anything else. If I happen to, I'll be driving myself nuts. I have done a lot of retrospection concerning about my life. A lot of recordings, a lot of videos, as I said before. Just to see if I've got enough of the memories out there to maybe make a difference in someone else's life if they happen to listen to all that damn crap of what I went through, what I lived, how I lived. Because this may be considered like a last line or a last letter, but I just wanted to say something about it anyway. I had been at one time a collector of junk. Besides pants, I still am. Sci-fi junk, last few years. I had been a book collector, trying to rebuild the collection again after I lost the first one. Sold it off, actually, because of survival purposes. I had worked for a long time. And doing it on an accident screwed me up left and right. I don't know if I call it deliberate or not, but it happened. I have to live with the physical and mental health consequences, and then losing my family one by one. That kind of adds to the flock of albatrosses hanging around my neck. It gives me more of neck pain than anything else these days. I'm trying to be hopeful at this point. Not hoping for death, but hoping that maybe I'll be able to get something accomplished in my life. I still wanted to publish books. I still had book series I wanted to get out there. Just hadn't got off my dead ass or got the money necessary to do the publishing myself. And I also wanted to complete my education, and that I'm working on as a priority. Because to me, that is a priority for me. A promise I made to my brother and my mother. When David was still alive and still ticking and still speaking in complete sentences, he says, John, I don't care what happens. You complete your education. I don't care what happens to me at this point. I said, Dave, if anything happens to you, I'm dropping the damn thing and I'm taking care of your ass. You know that. It kind of upset him a great deal. I guess maybe I was becoming too much of a burden at that point. And also the idea of me not going back into college and completing it again kind of maybe pissed him off or upset him a bit. Maybe. But when you're family, you do everything that you necessarily can. And maybe I went overboard, overindulgence, and God knows what else, I don't know. Call it what you will. I had a duty, I had an obligation. They were family, they were my security net, and I wasn't about to lose it. My safety blanket, basically. When I lost my brother, I lost my mind. I had tried to reconcile Ma's death. She was physically at that point, and for the last several years of her life, she had been dying. Spiritually, emotionally, and then lastly, physically. And it was hard as hell to deal with it because right after my birthday is the month of my mother's death. She died twice. As far as I'm concerned, she died once, and her body just never bothered to complete the process. And it was hard as hell to deal with. It was hard as hell to deal with it. And I had to move on. I had to find other things. But I still didn't bother to grieve. Since my brother's death, I've been finding more and more time and more opportunities to absolutely, completely break down. And I did. Utterly and completely broke down. Something to be carried over for the 55th birthday. Some people look forward, aging gracefully and still seeing new wonders. My eyes are still stuck with the past. No wonder I identify myself with Samuel Coleridge and the Rime of the Ancient Mariner. I'm more in tune with the damn Ancient Mariner than I am with the damn guest. Because the mariner's got to live long enough to tell his tale, and I feel like he's going to die anytime soon. But he's got so much grief around his neck, even though there is no albatross. There still is the ghost of him, and he still can't get rid of it. That's me. I've got my own flock of birds around my neck. My own regrets. This doesn't mean I'm going to be looking forward to offing myself. No, it's just too much crap. And in the videos and the recordings, I still try to say some things positive. But all that comes out is all the negative stuff coming out of me. So this is my video saying it. 55 is coming up, and there's a hell of a lot of regrets leading up to 55. Afterwards, when will the birds ever leave? When will I actually be able to straighten back up again? And and feel like I don't have to be tied down anymore or weighted down. Just to enjoy the rest of life. Look forward to a sunrise instead of the sunsets all the damn time. When? 55 should not be the sunset years. They still should be high noon. I should still have some life left to live, adventures to have, tasks to complete, books to be published, degrees to be achieved through college and through hard work. There has to be goals. There has to be. And I can't keep looking at it from the most... There is no word in the English dictionary or thesaurus I can actually think of that could feel that level of depression that I go through regarding how I look and feel about things. Except to be saying it's the rime of the ancient mariner time. I don't know when I shot my albatross or a flock of them, but I did. And I still have to be shrived over it and be forgiven. But I still go on. I hate surviving. I want to live. I want to live. I want to live. And I hope to look forward towards my 55th, and I hope look forward to my 60th down the road, and my 70th, and my 80th, and 90th, and 100th, maybe. Maybe 1,000 years. I'm not looking for immortality, but I don't think I want to be an immortal, though. When the universe finally dies and I'm still immortal during that time, the last living presence in the universe, I don't think I could deal with that one. Anyway, happy birthday, you old fart. And let's hope the 56 will be a hell of a lot better. And let's hope 55 will be a hell of a lot better than your previous ones. Get this damn thing turned off.